Hi fellow gardeners, long day at work today, but on the way home I had the good fortune of coming across some clearance plants at Home Depot. So let me share with you. I got these because I have a shade garden that I'm filling up in the back with some new plants, and I'm doing it on a budget. So here is, this plant here is a heucherella called Citrus Shock, and it has flowers that are white or cream colored. They're kind of faded, but you can see the blooms there. So this one is in pretty good shape. Let me give you a close-up of the leaves. And I really wanted a light colored heucherella just to kind of light up that shade area in the back there. So it doesn't have a lot of details on the tag. It's a perennial, it's coral bells, and yeah, the tag is very generic. It's one of the Home Depot ones that just, you know, they stick in without any real detail, but it blooms late spring to summer. It says the height varies. It's 31 to 46 centimeters, hardy to -40, water 2 to 3 times a week. So that's just a generic advice for any heucherella, so it's not really helpful. But it was $10 or $9.98, and I got it for $3 marked down. And there's nothing really wrong with this plant, it's just that it's past its bloom, so it's past its prime. What I'm going to do is just cut off the blooms, cut off any of the dried up leaves, and then I'm going to plant it in my shade garden, and I think that one is going to really help light up that particular shady area. And you can see, like, this is actually pretty similar to Pink Fizz, which is another heucherella that I really like in terms of its like leaf coloring. But this one is a little bit more yellow or chartreusey in color, and that one is more green. But I think it's really nice to have this one. It's gonna light up that shade area, like I said, so I'm excited to try it. And actually I have tried this in the past and it hasn't come back for me, but I think that was just a really wet location. So I'm excited because this does have some new growth coming in, so I think it'll do well there. But for $3, I'm willing to try and lose it. And I also have a second one. There was 2 of them there, so I picked them both up. And you can see again, this one is has a little bit more blooms. So those white creamy blooms, great for a shady area. And I can just show you the nice coloring there, the nice leaves. Again, nothing wrong with this plant. It just needs a little bit of trimming. Cut off those leaves, dead leaves, cut off the blooms, and it'll be good to go. And actually you should deadhead this because it'll put more energy into the roots, which is what we want when it's just being planted. It has definitely warmed up for us here, so I'm thinking that we have to water when we put these in. Okay, and then the last plant, I was really good. I just got 3 plants today, and this one is a really good deal as well. It is a Pink Magic Potion, no, sorry, let's try that again. Magic Show Pink Potion Veronica. It's a perennial, it's a proven winners one. So let me show you the tag. And I actually have this in my garden. You would have seen it in my front garden tour. It is a spiky texture, so it's like a spiky purple. This one is pink, they also have purple, but this one is like a spiky pink, nice contrast to like other plants in the garden. It is a full sun to part sun plant, and let's see, what does it say in the back? It gets a medium height, 14 to 16 inches tall. It has a minimum spacing of 18 inches, maximum 22 inches, and it's perennial in zones 4 to 8, and I'm zone 8B. Hardy to -30 Fahrenheit. So this is like kind of a nice pink color. It blooms prolifically. You can deadhead it. It has a kind of rounded, mounded type habit if you deadhead it. Deep green foliage. You can plant it in containers if you like, or at the front of a border. And I also do like I buy this cut flowers sometimes from a farm that I drive by once in a while. Anytime I drive by it, I stop at their flower stand and pick a bunch of a fresh flower bouquet. I like to support the local farmers if I can, and I don't like cutting from my own garden because I just like seeing it. I don't know. Are you like that? Do you not want to pick from your own garden because you don't want to ruin the look? But anyways, the one I got just today from the flower garden or from the flower farm stand, it had veronica in it, which was very interesting because it had veronica and astilbe, and I never even thought that of putting veronica and astilbe in a bouquet. So this one is, like I said, Pink Potion. It's originally $14.98 and I got it for $3. It doesn't look as good because it does have these dried up leaves. You can see those. But once I take off those dried up leaves and deadheaded, I think it'll be great. Actually, I think it just needs a lot of water and deadheading, and I'm gonna try to get into the ground right away because we are going into the hotter spell of the summer and I really need to get all my planting done. But yeah, this I think just needs a little bit of tender loving care and it will be fine. And again, what a great deal, right? $15 to $3. So those are the 3 plants I got today, and my shade garden is progressing really nicely. So let's deadhead these. And you know what happened? I bought like new snips because I couldn't find my thin snips, and guess what? Today I found my thin snips. So now I have 2 of them. Isn't that always the case? You think you've lost something, sometimes you buy another pair, and then what do you know? They turn up. But that's okay. I can always use more snips. So I'm just deadheading the flowers. Unfortunately, they've got to go. And the plant does look tidier without the flowers. And you can always just, if you don't like the flowers, you can always cut them off, because a lot of people just grow these plants for foliage in any event. They don't even grow it for the flowers. I like the flowers because they're very airy and I think they look pretty. Okay, so that was easy, and now that just took a couple minutes, and I'm just going to cut off the dead leaves. So I just snip off the dead leaves as far down as I can go find them. So it's just a matter of grooming, really. And sometimes, you know, the garden centers, especially like Home Depot and stuff, they just want to make room for the next big thing. So right now lilies are on the way out, so they were a lot of lilies on clearance because they're done, they're blooming pretty much, and the next, pretty soon they won't look good, and then the next thing will come in. So, you know, they're transitioning their kind of early summer stuff into the late summer stuff. So it'll be harder to find things like Amsonia because it's done blooming. And that's pretty good. And I promised myself I'd have everything planted by July 1st, but yeah, still working on it. I even have one dahlia tuber that I really have to get in the ground or I won't see a bloom on it, but you know, we can only do what we can do. Now I'm gonna deadhead the dead leaves off this one. Really, you want it to focus on roots, so that means cutting, cutting, cutting. And sometimes it's hard to cut off buds and blooms, but it's for the long-term health of the plant, so. And it can rebloom, so. It's got some nice new little growth coming out of the bottom, which I see now, so that's a good sign. And usually these Proven Winners ones that are $15, you usually don't get marked down under $5, so I was surprised to see this for $3. $3 is kind of the magic number. It's like, no, $3, I'll take it. If I don't have space for it, I will find a spot. And I was thinking, where am I going to put this one? So I'll find room. We always find room, don't we, gardeners? Okay. All right, so let's see if we can find a space in this shade garden for the 2 heucherella citrus shots. All right, welcome to the secret shade garden. It is located behind this shed, out of sight. It tends to be a dumping ground, so my goal is to clean it up this summer, so it has broken bricks and things that eventually I'm gonna at least tidy up and get rid of these ladders or put them somewhere else, hopefully, so that this triangle area, which used to be just weeds, can be a nice little pocket garden that you maybe turn the corner and are surprised by some beautiful things in there. So let's take a closer look. So far, this hosta and fern were put in last year. This is a Francis William, and the fern behind there, I did put the Helleborus in this year. The ground cover is in there from last year. That's the ajuga. There's some impatiens that I just put in this year. I also put in a silver gumdrop heuchera, a hosta royal standard, a frilly heuchera, a patriot hosta, and this is a yew, which looks like it needs to be dug out, but so far haven't had a chance to do that yet. I've also put in a ground cover of lamium behind there, or spotted dead nettle. So let's see where we can find space for our citrus shock heucherella. And I do tend to be a serial overplanter, so I might be crowding these plants, but that's okay. I think we need some brightening up in this area. All right, so I did a little switcheroo. I ended up putting the citrus shock citronella, or sorry, heucherella, where the silver gumdrop heuchera was, and moving the silver gumdrop here, because the frilly heucherella has the same coloring in a sense as the citrus shock, so I didn't want them too close together. So I flipped those two around, put the darker one here, the brighter one in the corner. And I think that's the right call because that's going to be the darker corner. And the other one, I'll just try to ease my way out of here. The other one I put right over here by this Patriot hosta, right behind there. And I think, hopefully, those two do well because they do really add a nice brightness to this area. It really lights it up. Only thing is, the soil here is very clumpy, clay-like soil, and it's easily compacted. Like you can see, you know, just from standing on it, it's getting compacted. If I put compost on top, it's gonna run over onto the sidewalk. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about that. I may have to rake some of this out of here, but I'm gonna wait until all of this stuff is gone so I have more room, because it was really tight in here to get those in there. And now that I'm looking at it, this one looks like it might be planted a little bit too high. But anyways, yeah, I might do that, rake out some of the soil and replace it, top dress it with compost. But anyways, part of the reason I make these videos is to remember what I planted. So yes, we have some Angelina sedum, citrus shock heucherella, some royal standard hosta, silver gumdrop heuchera, frilly heuchera, patriot hosta, impatiens, Angelina sedum. I think I'm pretty much out of room, to be honest. And if I do think I want to put more in, I'm going to stop myself because, yeah, there's no room. Like, these are going to fill in, and I have to actually allow space for that. So I'm going to try to just get this mulched eventually and leave it there and let it grow in. And hopefully we can do an update and see how this secret shade garden turns out later in the summer. So it's a few days later, and I just wanted to come back here because I didn't do any close-ups of these plants, and I was just about to water this little area. So yeah, let's do some close-ups here. This is kind of still needs to be cleaned up, but there's the little Angelina sedum, and my hope is it fills in this little triangle area, which is an area between the fence and the sidewalk. And giving it some space, it's followed by the citronella heucherella, which so far so good, looking really nicely there with the beautiful colors, the beautiful lobed leaves, and two colors of the leaves there. Moving right along, we have our royal standard hosta, and I saw this on a different channel recently and it got really nice and big and green, so I'm hoping it'll just fill in that area there. And contrast that with the silver gumdrop heuchera by Proven Winners. It's the silvery foliage on top of the purple, just really pretty and unique, which also is a nice contrast to this frilly heuchera. And the frilly heuchera has this gorgeous texture. It's green and it has some red or burgundy in there as well, which is really beautiful. I've also popped in some annual impatiens just for a pop of color. This is lamium, and I'm hoping it'll just take over and be a carpet and act as kind of a mulch. So there's the other citronella heucherella. Look how beautiful. Looking good so far. There's a Patriot hosta down here for some contrast, and it's got some beautiful edging. So a nice color. Quite different from the Royal Standard. Here we've got a weed as well as an impatient. We've picked up with that Angelina sedum again for some continuity. Also for some ground cover. And then there's some more impatiens. So we'll give this water because we have had some heat. The summer has finally arrived here in July. So we're hoping that everything is going to get through this little heat wave. It's 30 degrees Celsius, which I believe is like around 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyways, for us, summer has arrived. But because these heucherellas were just popped in here recently, definitely have to keep them well watered. And you should definitely do that in the evening or early mornings so the water doesn't evaporate from the heat. So let's just take one swing around, another view of this shade garden. And once I figure out where to put this stuff, I will clean it up. And I actually have a plan to put a mirror here, because I do have a spare mirror that's just like an IKEA kind of throwaway mirror. I was trying to figure out what to do with it, but I think that will look good there. So it's finally an overcast day. We've had some real heat here, so I haven't been out in the garden as much, but I just wanted to come out here and take a look at how my shade garden is developing here. I've been watering it just because it was newly planted and we had quite a bit of heat, and we haven't had rain in a long time, I think over a month, and everything is looking really good. So it's settling in. One thing I did notice is that the soil is very compacted, so that's something that I have to keep an eye on. But yeah, my Angelina sedum, my citrus shock heucherella, Real Standard hosta, silver gumdrop heuchera, frilly heuchera, impatient lamium, Patriot hosta, another citrus shock, more Angelina. It's surviving, and that's really great when you're planting in the heat of July, clearance plants, and they're doing well. So I'm excited about that. And I just have to put some mulch down, but the dirt is a little bit raised, so I'm going to try to keep it off of this sidewalk as much as possible. So that's something I still have to do, but I don't know when I'm going to get around to that, to be honest. I did hoe through here to keep the weeds down, but yeah, I think I have to get on that, otherwise weeds will come in. But I just wanted to give that update that things are looking good, and I'm excited to see how this develops in the future.